Hello everybody, this is Chilti. Welcome to my channel, Daily Dose of English. I have started a new series called IELTS Tips, and as the name suggests, I will be giving you guys some tips and strategies that you need to follow in order to achieve the score you want. And this video is part 1 of that series. So if you guys are ready, let's dive right in. Writing can be one of the most challenging sections on the IELTS test, and many students they struggle to achieve their desired score. Do you know why? Because they are definitely making some mistakes that they are not aware of. Maybe they are using certain words, some phrases, and the grammar structures that they should avoid, or maybe they are using very simple vocabulary. So what they should be doing instead, they need to showcase their range by using more complex words and accurate vocabulary. I'm going to give you some examples of the language that you guys need to avoid in the IELTS writing part of the exam. And I would say not just in IELTS, in any sort of academic writing, you should stop using those words. For example, there are some very basic adjectives, nouns, verbs, adverbs that you need to avoid. Because if you keep using them, you are not going to score higher than 6. So if you aim to score more than 6, then you have to replace those weak words with more advanced and accurate vocabulary. In this video, we are going to talk about what adjectives, verbs, nouns, and adverbs we are going to avoid in our writing part. But before we start, let's start with the description about adjectives. Like, what are adjectives? And again, in this short video, I won't be able to cover everything about adjectives. I'm just going to give you the basic information about them, and then I will show you some examples. So what are adjectives? An adjective is a describing word. In simple words, it gives more information about a noun or a pronoun. For example, a big house, a beautiful flower. So beautiful is describing the flower, and big is describing the house.
Okay, so let's talk about the adjectives first. So the idea here is to replace the simple adjectives with more advanced and accurate ones. Also, we need to make sure that the word we want to choose should be suitable for the given context. So let's see some examples. So instead of saying a big number of people travel for leisure, you can replace the word big with large. And for example, instead of saying enforcing stronger penalties is an easy solution, so you can replace easy with an obvious solution. And in third example, modeling this behavior can have a bad effect on children. You can say modeling this behavior can have a negative effect on children. So the words that we are using on the right hand side, they are a bit more advanced and they are formal words that we should be using in the academic writing.
A part of speech that names a person, place, thing, idea, or emotion, that is a noun. And noun, we have two categories, concrete noun and abstract noun. Person, place, or thing, they are concrete nouns. And ideas and emotion, they come into the category of abstract nouns. So what is the difference between these two?
So basically, the concrete nouns are the nouns that you can touch, smell, hear, taste, and see through your senses. But on the other hand side, abstract nouns are intangible nouns. It means you cannot touch them, you cannot see them, can't hear, smell, or taste them using your 5 senses. So that's the difference between these two. Like concrete nouns would be house, table, shoe. But abstract nouns, these are just the feeling. You cannot touch them, right? You cannot see them, like freedom, education, love. We should also avoid basic nouns in our writing. With certain nouns like things and stuff, their definitions are too general. So we have to use more precise word to discuss the topic we are writing about. So, for example, instead of saying things, you can replace the word things with items. People tend to collect many items over time, not things. Also, in the next example, we should avoid using the word stuff. So instead of saying stuff, we can use experiences. In this context, experience would be an appropriate word to use. So often, experiences from our past can hurt us today. Stuff can mean many different things, right? So the precise word would be experiences here. And in the third one, corpse. Corpse is actually informal, so we shouldn't be writing the informal words in academic writing, as I said before. So we can replace corpse with police officers. So police officers need to be strict yet sympathetic when dealing with the public.
Very important part of the English language is the verb. So a verb is a word that indicates an action. For example, she stitched her dress. So stitched indicates an action. So that's a verb. Verbs also describe a state of being. For example, she feels tired. He prefers coffee.
There are some verbs that should be avoided. So verbs like do, have, give, get are correct, and they also can be used in a wide range of sentences, but you should always try to think if there is a verb that better suits the situation. So for example, the first one, the manual gives detailed information about the machinery used. So instead of saying the simple word gives, we can replace it with provides, right? Instead of saying getting the correct information, we can say obtaining the correct information, right? The formal word. And the third one, when someone has the right tools, so we can say when someone possesses the right tools, their future is bright. So we should be using these academic formal words. This is very, very important.
Speech that describes a verb, adjective, or another adverb is the adverb. So the adverb answers the question how often, when, and where.
Now there are some adverbs to avoid. So it is common for students to write very or so to stress a certain point, but they aren't adding to your imagery and could be removed or substituted. So you can see this in action by comparing really versus unbelievably in the sentence below. So the example says she moved really slowly, but actually this doesn't give us enough information like how slow she is. But if you replace really with unbelievably, on the right hand side, you can see she moved unbelievably slowly. So it gives you a vivid understanding, right? It was actually unbelievable. So your adverb choice is very important. Also in the next sentence, you can see forming a strong opinion can be so difficult for some people. So you can easily replace so with extremely here, right? So these are the things that you need to pay attention to.
Okay guys, so this is the end of part 1 of the series. I hope you find it useful, and if you really like this video, please don't forget to hit, and I'll come back with more videos. Bye bye, take care.